Okay, good evening, first year. So this is our sixth session of ITAS 1. So our lesson for this evening is about values and references. To start with, value types and reference types are the two main categories of C# types. So a variable of a value type contains an instance of a type, and this differs from a variable of a reference type. So that is the backgrounder for your values and references. For our objectives for this evening, number one, we are going to explain object-oriented programming. Number two is to explain the concepts of classes, objects, properties, methods, and events. And number three, to identify the reference plus the values and references plus encapsulations. Oops. Okay, so by default, on assignment, passing an argument to a method and returning a method result, variable values are copied. So in the case of value type variables, the corresponding instances um, value type variables are corresponding types instances are copied. So value types directly contains their data, and instances of value types are either allocated on the stack or allocated in line of structure. So values types can be built in, as implemented in runtime, user-defined, or enumerations. Values and references are just the tip of the iceberg for programming in C#. So the values directly contains the data for the instance are allocated on stack value. So speaking of stack value, this is in reference with the stacking of a value whenever you are converting a variable in your when you are going to run your program. So the allocation of the data is found on using the reference types. References are the ones that you referred whenever the program is running into a preempt condition. So our example for that will be on our activity later on. Okay, so I'll just have to explain it later. In the meantime, reference types store a reference to the value's memory address. Your memory address is found on your computer, no, on the allocation of your CPU units, because they're dyan nakastore ang data ninyo and are allocated on the heap. So heap is also a function. So there are a heap is a function for programs. Ato kagina ang explain natin are the ones which are having the values for stacking, for stacked. So I'll explain the maybe later in your program I will just explain stacking kay may subject pagid kamo guys nga topic itang stack pagid mga stack values. So the type of the reference type can be determined from values of self-describing types. Self-describing types are further split into array and class types. Ang array naman is a program within a program. For the class types, this refers to your attributes and classes. So the ones balang again lesson naton last time nga if the variable is being put into a value type, it contains an attribute, and the attribute is the description of the program or the classes. So the class types are user-defined classes, box type values, and delegates. So this is an example of your C# value types or stack. So what happens is the value type, for example, you're declaring int x. Your x is the variable, and integer is the int is the declaration for integer. So as it explained, the value is hindi kita anon kita. The value is contained 1, 2, 3. So that 1, 2, 3 number is being stored in your random access memory or in your RAM. So for your activity number 15, So what we're going to do is to code for coding 115. So I think this code is half of the code that is found on your module. Just consult your module, guys, okay? So that you'll not be for the totality of the code. So this is only a partial of the code for activity 15. Just like the past activity, what you're going to do is to code it in any IDE that you have. Then they're going to run it, and then afterwards produce a screenshot of the output. So I would like you to make emphasize on the output kids students ha. Kinanglan may output ng screenshot so that I can give you the grade for the activity. For the C# reference types, as in for memory allocation, you can see there the variable value addresses and the variable value. The ones, the data that is being put into the box is the one that is being put in your memory in the allocation. Take note, guys, that ang computer ninyo is only referring to ones and zeros in a fast manner. Okay, so your computer, again discuss natin, your computer cannot understand letter A, pero ang computer ninyo can understand ones and zeros nga equivalent ka letter A nga small letter. So ang small letter A is different from big letter A. So ano ang relationship sa reference type sa memory allocation? Siyempre, mag-coding ka mo, guys, di ba? Ga-type ka mo sa keyboard, and then the keyboard the corresponding letter and numbers or characters that is being displayed there has a given value of ones and zeros. So ang conversion kada ginabutang sa variable address, value address, gina-convert niya sa variable value. So like for example, ang kita nyo sa screen niyo, guys, ang string name, string is a combination of letters and numbers or symbols and letters. So ang string na siya. Unlike sa integer, kagina ang int is integer, which means number types, mga number siya. So kung makita ninyo, Suresh Dasari is the name. So string siya kay tungod may quotation pa. So what sa variable address, ang gina-read is 0 times 007819290. Then gina-convert yun na sa variable name ang ngaran, value, so which is Suresh Dasari, which is ang isa ka set two variable names, Suresh and Dasari. Siguro ang Suresh is the first name and Dasari is the last name na value niya. So amo da mag-allocate ka address sa memory. So sometimes this is called buffering, kay gina-store ninyo temporarily ang value sa memory type, and then gina-display da sa inyong So ang evident types of memory allocation is being proved sa ninyo, guys, when you are going to type, for example, a value sa Microsoft Word lang gid Microsoft Word. Then all of a sudden ma-run out. Karang una, guys, if ever mag-run out, ang naka-buffer ang memory niya sa Word, automatically ang ginobra nyo, why na, ubos. Ma-type kaliwat. Pero today, ang technology ka Windows, wherein, example, may okay lang kung laptop gamit mo, masave mo siya. Pero kung computer, just like ang why ka mo UPS, kag napatay computer, then ang today, okay na lang kay may last ninyo nga save nga file, amo day aya i-display na sa inyo nga screen or sa inyo nga dang Microsoft Word. So karang una, ang tawag kadagid is buffering, wherein gina-buffer niya temporarily lang. So kung mapatay, masugod kaliwat ka umpisa ka type. Your activity number 16 is similar to your 115, which is your activity 15. And I suggest you just check out this is only a partial code of your activity. So I'm suggesting to check out your module guide, which is in your Google Classroom. Okay. So I think that is all for tonight. If we're going to discuss the whole of the module, I think you cannot finish all of those things, no? Okay, so do you have any questions? Do you have any questions about our activity for this week? Okay, let me just reiterate to you. We are now on lesson 15 and lesson 16. So duwa na siya ka that is values and references. So again, for values or ginatawag natin stock siya. Actually ang ano naton ang termination or ang terminology for stock memory is actually first in first out nga, no, or the FIFO. If you're familiar with FIFO or stock, and then no, not the FIFO. Or the first in FILO ata. The FILO is FILO, which is the first in last out. So magkambal kita ka stock. Like for example, syempre nag-ano ka mo guys. Explain ko lang kung ano yung stock na tawag. Kung kamo nagapanghugas ka plato ninyo sa after ninyo magkaon. Like for example, 4 kamo sa balay ninyo. So 4 ka plato ang hugasan ninyo. Ang first nga makatapos kaon, di ba, I don't know kaninyo, pero kami ginahulat namon anay matapos tanan-tanan until sa lababo. Pero may dyan, example kung gadali, like for early in the morning, after breakfast, ang first ninyo family member, ang ibutang na daaya, pinggan, ngagin kanana sa lababo. So that is the first stock, ang stock number 1, ang plato niya. Then afterwards, pasunod ka mo. Kung 4 ka mo sa bulay nyo, yung isa, ikaduwa, ikatatlo, kung sino, ginatampok bala na sa babaw, ginabutang ka plato. So kung ibutang mo sa babaw ka plato, ang last, ang pinakauna gali dato, amo day pinaka-last nga magwa liwat. Hayti amo day kaya last ninyo nga kuuton maghugas. So for example, ang orihido man nga plato nga ginbutang sa tumpok, amo dumaday una nang hugasan. So that is an example of stacking or stock. Ang Dispwes, ang lang gid ang gakatabot na sa computer naton in our computer units. What happens is kung sino ang una nga sa memory, amo day ang pinaka-orihin nga i-display. So ang pinaka-orihin nga nag-stock nga data sa inyo nga memory or sa RAM ninyo, amo day una nga magwa or amo day una nang pangitaon. So that is stacking. Okay. So there's such thing as stack overflow in programming. Magambal ka mo stack overflow. Nagdurungan butang ka data sa isa ka sa compiler ninyo, nagdungan siya basa. Ang matabo mag-compile ka data sa isa ka line sa programming language ninyo, which is ang C#. Ang himuon na kada is i-read niya from top to bottom. Meaning to say, halin sa babaw nga code, isa da ka line, na gina-separate na ka inyong mga sets of codes. Depende kung ano yung structure niya. Aton nga structure is similar to C# and similar ang C# sa C kag sa ang general naton sa code na is sa babaw ang global variables, sa tunga-tunga ang body of the program, tapos naga-compose na ka start kag end, which is ang inyo nga dang colon, ang brace, open brace kag ang close brace. Ang close brace sa dalom, ang open brace sa babaw, amudaya. So nga tunga na is body or the code, body of the code or sa tunga-tunga. So dyan ginasulat. Pero ang declaration ka variable, makita nyo duwa, either global siya sa babaw and local, which is sulod man gyapon, may variable man gyapon nga gin-recall. So amo di structure ka program naton. So kung inspection nyo or lantawon nyo at mayad 115 kag 116. So ang structure na kada is similar, standard nga nga programming language or ang standard nga part kaysa ka programming language. So in our case, that is C#. So where does stack overflow begins or ends? Sa inyo nga 15, kay ang value types Stuck na siya. Stuck ang pag-insindi niya sa stuck. Gina-stuck ya block. Pero ang reference type is, which is ang inyong 16, this refer to your memory allocation or ang pagbutang. Actually, ang simplest term ka memory allocation, sa reference type na siya. Kaya duwa ang ano naton, ang lesson natin for this evening, values, which is stack, and reference types, which are the memory allocation. The memory allocation is buffering na. So like for example, if example in YouTube, kung mahina internet niyo guys, i-post niyo anay tapos may makita ka mong ndang circle nga nagatuyog-tuyog daw. So ang what happens is in your memory gina-buff niya ang data or ang signal nga ginabutong niya or gina-receive kay mahinay ang pagsulod, naka-bottleneck siya. So what I mean about bottleneck is literally bottleneck. Ang sa sulod ka battle, di ba ang battle naton ang coke ninyo ang anang baba kipot. Hindi siya pareho ka baso nga buka ana nga baba. So kung kipot siya, ang data, syempre kung kipot, ang liquid nga nagagawa pa sulod is hinay. Kaya gamay baba. Pero kung magbubo ka ano sa baso, kaya ang good ana nga baba, so mandasig ang pag pour ka liquid or pagwa niya, mag-inom ka mo. So the same thing is happening to your data. Kung naka-bottleneck siya, siyempre, ang pagsulod sa data ninyo is mahina or gutok na. So, ang ginahimo ka computer nyo, ginabuffer niya para hindi niya na pagparanon, pero gina-make sure niya nga may enough nga data nga nagasulod, and then kung enough na siya, that's the time nga mag-okay na nga niya na i-play na ang data. So that is buffering. So it happens sa reference types. Kaya sa values, opposite na siya sa stack. Ang stack na is first in, last out, or ang last in, first out. So amo dayon ang concept ka in yung stack overflow kag ang reference type. So that is our explanation for this evening present naton lesson. So I hope that you can you can understand what I'm saying right now. So that is the very good explanation. Mga lipot lang explanation about sa value types and references types. Okay, so do you have any questions regarding ang lesson natin for this evening? Okay, so if not, I would like, before we end our session for this evening, this is will not, hindi natin pagpudugayon kay this is just a reminder lang. If I'm doing this because I want to explain to you the lessons that we're having for the week. So that is why we need to talk about on something, and then the reference will be, is the PowerPoint presentation, at the same time your modules. So just read your modules, guys, and I think ara man da ang inyong for those people who did nagkuha ka module and may ngaran man to kanakon, may listahan to ya. So instead ka inyo nga dang upload ninyo ang answer ninyo sa Google Classroom naton. So there are two kananda nagbuol, pwede siya naka-add to lang kanakon, tapos ang tanan ng activity i-save nanda sa flash drive. Pero hindi pareho kay inyo, guys, ang inyo tanan na screenshot lang mo, di ba? Screenshot lang ang inyo. Anda tanan i-encode nanda gid sa tayon i-save nanda. Pagka-save nanda, testingan daron nanda sa eskwelahan ito pa-checkan kanakon. So imo nanda before ka midterm. Ang deadline ka nga submission ka activity is midterm. Pero inyo, guys, since you're attending my class, and maskin wide na lang gani, basta ginalantaw niyo sa Google Classroom, kay may separate man ya dang grade para sa recitation. So ang sa recitation lang, ang attendance lang gina-refer ko lang di karon ang kung mag-ano ka mo, mag-attendance doon. So mo lang na ginatawaan ko ka grade para sa recitation for every sessions. Okay? So it's okay if there are 5 among you here present. It's okay because kamo lang ginatawan ko ka points for this evening. So recorded man da, gina-record man da isa-isa. So okay lang man. And you can just upload your on Google Classroom para centralized. As I've said, amo lang daya himuon naton sa naton kay I cannot give a second set of for the module kay it would be unfair for you na nag-attend ka classes and kag ang sa offline na para fair bla na. So amo lang da guys gusto ko i-announce and then if you don't have any questions, just jot down your attendance na lang sa inyong chat box for tonight. Para nga maka kita. But if you have your if you have any question, I can answer it. So please ask questions kung hindi ka mo ma-clarify ka mga discuss natin for this evening. Okay, sige. Sige guys, write down your attendance now. 2 pa lang naka-attendance, si Anthony pa lang kag si Vivian. Okay, si Yvette doon si na. Marge, please write your attendance. And Faith. Okay, thank you Faith. Si Marge na lang. Marge, please write your name sa attendance sheet. Sa chat box natin Marge, butang mo lang to present ka. Chat box. Okay, gina-record guys ang Hello Marge, good evening. You don't need to speak Marge, I just put your name lang. Ikaw do lang Marge, wa ay attendance Marge. Sa aton nga chat box. Okay. So okay, thank you Marge. Okay, so guys, I think that is all for this evening and please pray for because it's Holy Week. If not necessarily lang, you can you go to church and this Friday or but be careful lang. Just bring with you your alcohol or face mask and face shields so that safe ka mo. Okay. So good evening lang. Thank you so much and that is all for tonight. Thank you and good evening.